Like going from like having no experience doing a podcast to doing that shit, I was so nervous. I remember like before what?
It's a big show.
Yeah, I remember like me and my friend Alicia, like Yellow Snow Baby, like beforehand, I was just like freaking out. And like I could not stop peeing. Like I was just like
Because you were nervous?
So I was so nervous. I was like, I need to pee. And then I remember like feeling nauseous on the way there because LA is like super big and the studio was like probably like an hour plus away from
where you were staying?
Yeah, like by the airport or LAX or whatever. And like so the entire time I was like trying not to yak in the car.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to a new Waterwave TV interview. Today we got the official Kendama babe. The first OnlyFans interview.
Really? The first?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
The first one we've done.
Cool.
Making sure the cameras are all good to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were just talking about your trip to No Jumper. I guess we could kind of start there since we kind of were already touching on it.
Yeah.
How'd you come in contact with Adam 22?
So I knew Adam from a while back. I think the first time I met him was in 2019 or 2018. We went to my ex is a 4-time world championship of like our champion of Kendama, and so he like had met Adam just like through Kendama because like Adam loves Kendama, and he like came out to the world championship in Tokyo that year, and my ex was competing, so that's when I met him and Lena for the first time. It was just those two, and they were super cool. They were super sweet, and it was just funny because I feel like everybody has this like image of Adam, you know, being a leader in the music industry and stuff like that, you know. And it was just funny seeing him just like get hyped about a little like Kendama with like all of my friends and stuff, you know. It was just really interesting. And I remember it was my 20th birthday. I was turning 20 there, and the drinking age in Japan or in Tokyo is 20. And so he took us all out to Hooters, and we had like this crazy party. Like everybody got super drunk and shit, and then we went to a little like dive bar a little later, and we all just like hung out and had a great time. And like he literally took care of everybody. Like he was such a sweet guy. So yeah,
that's the first how I met Adam for the first time was at a Kendama event, the NACO event at Varsity Theater.
Oh yeah, huh?
So similar stories. I didn't go to Tokyo for mine, but pretty similar stories. So at that time, were you doing OnlyFans then? At that time when you met him?
Yes. Yep. I think I was like just starting, I want to say, or maybe I get my timeline a little crooked, but I think I started either that year or the same time the next year. Some shit like that. I don't know. I remember one of the times in Japan I was like starting OnlyFans for the first time, so I can't remember which one, honestly. But I know that event that you were talking about. I think I was there too.
Okay.
At the Varsity Theater one.
That was my first introduction to Kendama.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the topic of Kendama, that's in your name, the Kendama Babe. How did you come up with official Kendama Babe?
It was like a meme, honestly. Like I started playing Kendama because it was really big at my high school, Jefferson, and like we had a bunch of people that would like play Kendama all the time, to the point of like I think our school or like one of the middle schools or something like banned them because they were just like a disruption to class. But I had a lot of people or like some friends that were really close to Sweets, and so they would always go to like Ken Club over there and stuff like that. But yeah, so it's just like it was a meme in the Kendama community to be like, oh my god, a Kendama babe, like a Kendama girl basically, you know. And so I was like, well, that's funny. I'm just gonna be like official Kendama babe and just like kind of make a joke out of it or whatever. And then it turned into like my whole fucking brand.
That's cool. It definitely, because I'd say getting that Adam 22 connection, being the official Kendama babe, was probably had something to help, because he's obviously into the Kendama stuff. So it was probably like the icing on the cake for him to like want to do an interview with you or look into you or like, who is this girl? Like learn about it. So do you play Kendama consistently?
I used to play way more. Like recently I haven't been playing a whole bunch, but like every time that a competition comes around, like NACO just came around like in like November or whatever, I was looking at their trick list and I got really like inspired. So I've played a little bit at home, but I like don't do a whole lot in public. Like I haven't been to like any events or anything because of like COVID, obviously, like everything's online. So yeah, but it's really fun because a lot of my friends still do play Kendama, so I am around it all the time.
So I guess we should get into, I guess, like when you first started doing OnlyFans and like when when you knew that was something you wanted to do. I know when we first talked, you said like you're into like sex education, and stuff like that. So it's a little bit deeper than just trying to be like a porn star, I guess you could say.
Yeah, exactly.
So you actually are interested in like the study of sex and stuff like that.
Yes. So I started, I guess, like getting really into sex education like in middle school, which people would be like, what the fuck? She was like thinking about sex in middle school. And it's just like, yeah, that's like puberty. You're going to think about it during that time,
That was kind of when they were teaching us all that stuff too. It was like elementary going into like middle school.
Exactly, right? So it's not like we weren't like, it wasn't anything new to me or anything like that. And so, but I remember in 8th grade, I like had decided, I was like, I want to do sex education. But when you're young and, when you're going to college, not a whole lot of colleges I found out have like sex education and stuff like that. So I really wanted to like pave my way somehow for like getting out there, I guess, because the only sex education we had was like in class, and it was always like abstinence is the only way you can have sex and like not get pregnant and shit like that. And then you grow older and you're like, well, that's a fucking lie, right? But yeah, so I'd always been interested in sex education. And then just like I remember reading Asa Akira's books when I was younger and just getting really like into her life and how she overcame so many different obstacles, being, an Asian woman in America and being a sex worker and all that stuff. And so I guess sex work for me and OnlyFans was just easy because I'd always been open to being in that, I guess, community or occupation, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I'd always like was thinking of like, should I be a stripper? And I was like, no, I don't have an ass for that. I don't have like enough to like shake, And so I was like, I can't be a stripper. And then I thought about camming and stuff like that. And then like when OnlyFans like really popped off, I feel like was around the time that like I got into it, or like maybe the earlier days or whatever. I want to say
before it became like when it started becoming like mainstream.
Yeah, exactly. I had like followed some people like on, I want to say like maybe Instagram, who were very like their Instagram feed was very like safe for work basically, so there wasn't like anything explicit, and you could still put in like OnlyFans into like your fucking link on Instagram or whatever the fuck. Yeah. So like during that era I really got into it, and then it just fucking blew up from there.
Yeah. And now it's like a struggle. Instagram kind of cracks down on the OnlyFans stuff, like promoting your OnlyFans on Instagram. I see you always post like your pictures get taken down and stuff like that.
Yeah, literally like the other day, like yesterday I got taken down. I was like, fuck, not again. And it's like I'm waiting for that one message, because I think they like send you a message where it's like, oh, like your account's like this close to being taken down, and I'm just like waiting for that message, because I also follow a lot of like sex education pages on Instagram, and they get those messages too, which like is kind of shitty,
Yeah, 'cause like that algorithm that they have that takes stuff down or keeps stuff up.
Yeah,
probably,
exactly.
Not as manual as it could be. Do you think so do you use Twitter at all then?
Yeah, I use Twitter.
I know Twitter kind of lets all that fly.
Yeah, I do use Twitter for sure. I think the biggest like stream for like subs for me on OnlyFans is probably TikTok. But yeah, I love Twitter just because you can, I don't know, like when you tweet something, it's just kind of like throwing it out to the world, and you don't know who the fuck's
like
gonna
you're posting like a news article, just like let it happen.
Exactly. Yeah, right.
And it can get retweeted and retweeted and retweeted. That's what I like more about Twitter than Instagram, is you can really go viral on Twitter. Instagram, it's hard to go viral unless people like I don't even like, you have to get on like the explore page or something, because you can't retweet. You can put it on your story, but you can't repost on your feed necessarily as easy as you can.
And it's so Twitter. Easy to get like shadow banned on Instagram or whatever, because I feel like I've been shadow banned for a long time, and I feel like Instagram just like is out for sex workers and just like creators in general.
One of my Calvino's got like shadow banned, and I don't even know why, because he's like, it said something like, we just started our Waterwave gaming page, so it was just a fresh account, so I went to go follow everybody, and then I tried to follow. I had to search his name up letter for letter to find it, and then I had to, when I clicked follow, it said, are you sure you want to follow this page? Like it asked me to like be sure. I was like he don't, I mean, like he obviously doesn't do OnlyFans, like, or I don't know what he would have reposted or whatever, but they just be hitting people with it sometimes,
it's
and it don't
so
even make
weird.
sense.
I don't like it at all. I think Instagram should fix that, but that's like a whole Facebook and like whatever the fuck problem. So, but yeah, I love Twitter, and TikTok also can be on their bullshit sometimes too, though. But then like Reddit's sometimes kind of fun, but it's also kind of incel-y, It's just like gets out of hand sometimes on Reddit.
Yeah, I only use Reddit for like cryptocurrency stuff, but I do definitely hear like stuff where it's like you can get OnlyFans leaks on Reddit and stuff like that. Oh yeah. Have you ever found your leaks on
for
OnlyFans?
sure. I found it on Reddit because somebody made a subreddit for me, like official Kendama babe, and I saw this shit and I was like, what the fuck? And then they made me a mod for like a day or whatever, and then they like booted me and then blocked me. So like it's probably still out there, I don't know. But like I have a team too that also like goes out of their way and finds like leaks and stuff and just like takes it down for me, which is like super cool. But yeah, I've come across it for sure. And like it's really funny when people are like, hey, like does anybody have any official Kendama babe like OnlyFans photos or whatever? Like can you send them to me? It's goofy. Yeah,
that's funny. So yeah, you mentioned you have a team. I assume when you first started OnlyFans, it wasn't you didn't have a team.
Yeah.
But maybe you did, but didn't. So I guess when you first started making content, what kind of content were you making at first, and I guess what kind of content do you make now? Because I mean, I've never really been on OnlyFans, so I haven't seen yours, and I haven't seen anybody else's. So I guess I don't really know what kind of content you make, but I guess you could share it with us.
I guess it's like all explicit. Like I started like, I think some girls start like maybe like teasing and not doing like full like, you know, like solo videos or like boy girl videos, girl you know, stuff like that, like explicit stuff. And like I started doing that like right away, you know. I was just like comfortable with that shit. I think I told you, like, I think what's his name, Mr. Minnesota or something like that. I remember when I was younger, some guy like nutted on my face, right? And then he like sent it out to all these people and I saw it on Snapchat and I was like, oh my God. But like, I think that was like villain origin story or whatever the fuck. And I was like, you know what? Fine. If people are going to fucking like hype this up, then I'll just do it myself, you know?
Yeah, you're like made for the camera already. Already going viral without even trying. Do you think, I mean, so do you think that actually like not necessarily inspired you, but like made you comfortable with like, oh, my face is out there, and you didn't feel a type of way about it?
Yeah, I mean, when I was younger, I was definitely like, oh my God, like this is gonna like ruin me. But then as I grew older, and I was like, it's not gonna ruin me. Like I really don't care. And like obviously, since I do OnlyFans now for a living, it like really helped my confidence, I'd say, actually. So that was really cool.
Do you what do you think of like, I guess like stereotypes for OnlyFans girls? Because I feel like some guys just like see someone that does OnlyFans and they immediately just think like she's a hoe or a slut or she fucks every guy she sees, you know. Like, do you get that a lot, like those types of comments, or is it more that doesn't really come to you very often?
I mean, I've definitely had those comments before. Are they like the main comment that I get? No, probably not. I think as an OnlyFans girl, you see that you kind of get worshipped by some people, right? Which is like pretty cool on some level. But at the same time, yeah, those like comments and stuff like that about being like, oh, being a hoe or a slut or whatever. But it's like, I don't find myself being offended by those words because I guess, yeah, I just don't find them offensive, you know? I think I've been called that since like fucking like early high school or whatever, when I wasn't a slut, when I wasn't a hoe or whatever the fuck. So it's just like become like desensitized to that shit. But like I get that they're trying to hurt me, but like it just doesn't.
What's some of your craziest sex stories you have to tell, maybe on or off camera, that you've done for OnlyFans?
On or off camera? I mean, the craziest one like to this day was probably like some guy being like, he had like the blackmail kink or whatever the fuck, so he would like put his ID and stuff out online, and you would like take his info or whatever and like save it for later, and then you just like hit him up and be like, hey, if you don't do so like this and this and this for me, then like I'm gonna leak all your information to your family and friends or whatever the fuck, which like you wouldn't do, but it was like his kink or whatever the fuck. So me and my friends we told this guy to write my username across his chest, so it said like Kendama Babe, and then piss in a cup and then drink it. And he totally did it. And it was so fucked up because he like had Kendama Babe on him, and then he like pissed in this cup, and then he like took a swig and drank like half of it, right? And then looked at it. So he like savored that shit and then drank the rest of it. Like he didn't just take
like,
it.
Damn, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, right. So it was like, this guy must drink his pee. Like, and then we looked through his page and we're like, oh yeah, this guy drinks his pee. Wow. Yeah. Hey,
there's some health benefits to it.
Yeah, right.
As long as you eat healthy.
Yeah, hopefully. I don't know. That shit was funny though. We thought it was goofy.
Do you do the thing where people can like buy you gifts?
Oh yeah.
Like outfits or toys, stuff like that. Have you ever had anything? I guess, is it like you choose what they can buy, or do they just send you stuff, or how does that work?
Yeah. So usually what I do is like the Amazon wish list, which is
okay.
basically like a list you make of things that you want on Amazon, and then you can hide like your address and stuff like that. So like I always hide my address, and so they'll be like they'll pay for it and it'll just get sent straight to my place. Like I'm doing one right now, like a special for people who like can't get my OnlyFans for some reason, where they like buy me something on Amazon and then I like send them like exclusive content, you know. So like, what's the craziest thing I've gotten? Like I've gotten so many outfits, sex toys.
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
usually like they buy you the outfit and then you make a video in the outfit for them specifically, or just a video in general.
Yeah, both. So like I'll be like, oh my god, thank you so much, like here's this outfit you got me, like you're so sweet. But then I'll also make content with the outfit for OnlyFans. But usually most of my stuff on Amazon is like lingerie, I'd say, or like sexy stuff. But yeah, I think, I don't know, my favorite one was like this sex toy. It's called a Lush, and like me and all my friends have it. Like I remember going to like the sex shop, like Bondesk. You know Bondesk?
Is that the one that's by that gym that we go
Yeah,
to?
like across the street. And so I remember me and my friends like went there and we all got the same toy because this guy was just like, go buy the toy and then I'll send you money or whatever the fuck. So like we all got one, which is cool. That was a fun friendship bonding thing.
Have you met people that like your subscribers on your OnlyFans? Maybe not even like where you like message them like, all right, let's meet up here at the spot, but have you like been out in public and someone's like, I subscribed to your OnlyFans or anything like that?
I've had like few Kendama people do that, but I've also been like with I remember this one person I was like having a situationship with, or thingy with, whatever the fuck.
Situationship?
Yeah, whatever the fuck.
Is that like a relationship but not like a full on?
Yeah, exactly. Like we were fucking basically, and I remember he would buy my OnlyFans just to make sure his dick wasn't on it. And I was like, well, obviously I wouldn't put your dick on there, like, if you didn't want it out there. Like, that's fucking, like, I don't know, like, people who do that, like, that's just shitty, I think.
Wouldn't he know if you're recording?
Yeah, right? Literally. And so, yeah. So he did that once, so I guess he was
That's
kind of a
just
fan. Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't do, like, meetups with people like that, do you? I feel like, is that even allowed on OnlyFans? Like, can you...
It's, like, this very thin line between, like, having what is it, like a convention, you know? So like how AVN and stuff like that have their meetups and stuff like that, and it's like in a convention center, and like I feel like that's kind of safe where like you can do meet and greets there, but at the same time like I wouldn't want to do it by myself. And apparently I was talking to somebody, it's like if you do that and then you fuck somebody and they are subscribed to your OnlyFans, that could be like seen as prostitution or something like that, so you could get in trouble. Yeah. That
was gonna be one of my questions, is like, I guess, like, what's your opinion on like prostitution, like, and like if you think it should be legalized or regulated to where like, because like how I see it is it's just like, it's basically like legalizing weed, right? Like it's something that a lot of people would pay for and that the government could just make money off of, and if it's regulated in a safe manner, then like it would be done correctly and you wouldn't have to worry about shady business or stuff like that. Like if, let's say, there's an actual logbook of Joe booked whoever like today, and they have a 2-hour session or whatever they book it for, and you know exactly who and where and who she's with at this time in a safe location, either in a house that's just bedrooms that's made for prostitution, or if she shows up to the house, or like if it's like a, you know, whatever, you come to the house, like a house call, like a barber, like you know exactly where and when and where, like how long she's supposed to be there, where she's at, who she's with. Like if it's regulated in that manner, then I feel like it would just cut the basically you either getting raped or you getting killed or kidnapped, because people would actually know and have record and know like that where you're at, basically.
Right? Exactly. I think the exact same way, like legalize sex work. And I just feel like, also, me and my friends talk about this sometimes, where it's like, you know, incels or like involuntary celibates or whatever the fuck. Like if they could just pay for porn or like pay for like sex and stuff like that, maybe we wouldn't have as many school shootings. That's a hot take, but it's like something to like think about, you know? And I feel like you're right. Like it would like have so many like pros for safety and stuff like that if we did legalize it. And I mean, and
like even down to where like you have to pass like an STD test before you do it, like stuff like that, to where even like the person that's paying for the service has to go through these tests as well to make sure either they're mentally stable or they don't have STDs, or if they need to be like, you know, obviously like there has to be some regulations and rules on how aggressive you can be with the girl, like stuff like that, like and then, you know, some like I think, you know, I think it would just make sense to legalize it,
to legalize
to do it like in some manner, like to where it makes sense and it can be controlled in the right environment. Like I think it would for sure make sense if you had like a hotel building and 3 floors of the hotel building is just straight for prostitution, right?
Yeah, right.
But like, and then the only time where it would get kind of iffy is like, you know, going to people's houses, but that's where it comes with having other information and stuff like that. But
yeah.
well, yeah.
The thing is, it just would take a lot of work, and people don't want to take that work. The government doesn't want to take that work, which what it really comes down to. But then also, like, on a side note, it's also really weird to think that like there's this rule in like most states that you can't have like this many like different people or like families in one house because they think it's going to be a brothel or something like that. Because you know how many people like around here like have so many people living in their house or whatever, but like in some states, like most states, you can't have like more than like 2 like families or like 3
non-family
like,
member
yeah,
people,
exactly
basically.
in like houses because they think it's gonna be a brothel. But like I think from, you know, an economic like standpoint, like you could, like, wouldn't it be fun to like live with your friends and stuff like that?
Yeah, we had a house where 6 of us.
Yeah, exactly.
All living together, doing
Yeah.
the water wave thing for the first time when we moved out here.
Exactly, right? And like I just feel like if people can't afford like rent that's so high and stuff like that to like live with your friends and stuff, but like most states like they don't allow you to do that, which is like crazy to me.
Yeah.
So like coming from a different standpoint on legalizing.
Yeah, would you would you ever live in like a content house?
Yeah, I totally would.
Yeah.
I've been like thinking about it, but like also like in Minnesota, it's really hard to find people who like make OnlyFans here. Like I've definitely like been with a few of them.
Like that are like serious about it. Because
Yeah.
OnlyFans is like your full time. Like you get paid, you make enough money off it where you don't have to worry about making money in other ways, right?
Yep, it's my full-time job and I love it. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of people that I know that are like kind of like on the same pathway as me, unless you go to like LA. Like I like have so many people who are like, oh, let's like work, and it's like, oh fuck, you're in LA, so I have to go to like California all the time. And that's just like a hassle. So like just finding like-minded people here in Minnesota would be very cool. And starting like a content like house here would be fun.
I've always wanted to do like a content house, not necessarily for me anymore, because I've already kind of lived in that environment and I'm ready to not live in it. I mean, I'd visit it and, you know, spend some days in there, but like like have like a content house of like water wave artists and engineers and producers all just like living together. And like if we got to the point where we could basically pay for the house's mortgage or whatever to where they could just live and work and just create together. Like I'd love to be able to do that someday, but like obviously that's a big step. But like even the content house of where you get 5-6 OnlyFans creators together and you guys all pay your part of the rent, you know, like you make videos together, you guys would just run it up. Like, you know what I mean? Like bouncing off of your guys' fan bases, if you get 6 people that are all like similar stature of you and take it as serious as you, I think you guys would all just basically grow at the same rate. Yeah. How many, I guess, like how many subscribers do you have? I don't really know how that
I've maxed out at a K.
1,000.
Like
1,000 a month. Whatever.
Yep. Right now it's definitely like way less than that, but I've also like had this thing where when I was younger, I used to think that like getting as many subscribers as you can for as cheap or whatever like gets you the most, I guess, money. But like that works out for people like Lena or like Riley Reid and stuff like that. So like as somebody who's like a smaller content creator, I'd say I've been definitely like cutting down my clientele, but then like charging more for every like video, photo, and like stuff like that, like doing girlfriend experience and like focusing on like doing the one-on-one stuff versus like, because I feel like people like Elsa Jean or like Asa Kier, they already have like a huge fan base, and so they always have new people coming in. Or like Kazumi, you know Kazumi, right?
I think so, just from No Jumpers. Like,
she's the one where it's like the 50 guy gangbang parties or whatever like that.
I think I seen that podcast or interview or something, like clip, at least a clip or something.
At least a clip, right? So like, just having like a fan base that like is already established, I suppose.
Is there any creators you want to work with, male or female?
That I'd want to work with?
Yeah.
Kazumi for sure. I haven't worked with her, but I'd really want to. I'd love that. Asa Kier is just like my idol in general. Who else? I don't know. I mean, there's so many people. I would definitely want to work more with girls rather than guys. I haven't done a whole lot of like girl stuff, but I've talked to a few girls like in Minnesota who do OnlyFans and like they're interested in stuff. So I don't know. We might see some content soon. With that.
Is most of your content besides like photo shoots? Is it like basically you having sex with a guy?
Yeah.
Is that what most of it is?
Or sex with myself? Yeah.
Okay. what was I gonna say? Do you do like professional like actual like film cameras, or is a lot of it just like iPhone?
It's definitely like amateur for sure. It's not like any like studio like setup or something like that. I've definitely done like photo shoots and stuff in studios and stuff, but I've never had like a full shoot
like
where
production
it's
of
like
a porn production where
like Brazers or something, or
where
Brazzers.
like, so do you ever have other cameramen in the room when you're having sex, or is it always just like either you or the
times.
guys holding the camera?
Yeah, a few times I'll have somebody else do, or like I have a stand or whatever the fuck. But usually it's just like us two, maybe 3 people. But I max it out at that. I keep it pretty intimate, I would say.
Is it hard to find guys to do OnlyFans for, or there's a lot of people that are open to it?
I think a lot of people are open to it. And like what's nice too is that I feel like I fuck with guys who don't get offended by me doing OnlyFans. You know, I feel like some people get like kind of worried about like, oh, will my partner enjoy me doing OnlyFans? Like they have to ask their partner and stuff like that. But like I'm somebody who is like, oh, you don't fuck with my occupation, then I'm not gonna fuck with you, you know? So like it's pretty easy for me to find guys. And usually I don't show their face anyways because nobody wants to see them.
I feel like because you want it. I mean, from a viewer perspective, you definitely don't want to watch. You definitely don't want to necessarily see the guy.
Yeah.
You just want it because you have to. You're basically pretending like it's you, I guess, if you're watching porn, anyways.
Yes.
So that is definitely turn off, I
like
guess.
doing the POV and stuff like that. Definitely like not.
But yeah,
having
what's
his
like your
face.
favorite style of porn to do? I guess.
To do?
Or your favorite? I guess. I mean, I guess I don't know how many style like. I mean, there's only so many styles that you can do.
Yeah, to do
but
or
I mean,
like to watch. Like I love.
I guess yeah, both. Like, what do you like to do? What do you like to watch? And what positions do you like to have? like what positions, I guess, do you prefer?
I like it usually like probably. Oh, I have so many like positions that I like. I'm really not a missionary person because I remember one time some guy was fucking me missionary and he fucking was sweating so much that his sweat like dripped onto my face and I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm good on that. So like missionary is kind of meh for me, but anything else I'm like pretty open to. I like writing a lot. I really like, let's see, like filming wise, I like JOI, so like jerk off instruction. Have you heard of that? It's like basically where the girl will be like, okay, I want you to like stroke it like slow now or faster and wait for me to tell you to come.
Like you were just like talking to them while they're doing it?
Yeah, so like I instruct them like how to fucking touch their dick and come and stuff. I enjoyed that. Yeah, I like kind of like doing the one-on-one thing.
Yeah, that's interesting. That like I guess some guys like want that. I don't know.
So I think it gives them like the kind of like idea that we're together, you know, and like I kind of like that, just having like one-on-one.
So are you making like, is that like a live phone call that you do that with people, or is it a pre-recorded?
Yeah, pre-recorded video that like you can send out to people. I like that. What else? I like anything I make with girls, like anything. I love making out with girls. I love eating pussy. I love eating pussy way more than I love sucking dick. I don't like sucking dick all that much, but like eating pussy is just, you know. But let's see, when it comes to watching stuff, I really like let's see, I really like public stuff. I used to like hardcore like more when I was younger, but now as I grew up I like more sensual things. Like I noticed that I'm more of like a sensual person. Like I love all of my senses being stimulated, whether it be like touch or smell or whatever, you know. So I like that. Let's see, what else. I do pay for porn though. If anybody's like, I don't want to pay for porn, like just fucking do it. Just pay for porn. Once you start paying for porn, then you'll be able to be like, oh my god, like that's what I actually really want. Because I feel like all the stuff on like Pornhub that's free is like good stuff or whatever, but like once you figure out like what your kinks and stuff are, then you should go out. It's and
almost like a starting ground to like find.
Yeah.
I've never paid for porn. I'm not too big into porn.
Yeah.
I used when I was younger, I used to want like it was more of a thing. But now when I get a little bit older, a little more mature, that I don't necessarily need it or want it as to the point to where I would pay for it.
Yeah.
Like I definitely still watch porn from time to time, but not to the point to where I want a subscription and I want to feel like I'm getting my money's worth to where I have to like check on it all the time. And I feel like that was like my main reason of not wanting to subscribe to something. Like I don't even pay for Netflix or Hulu or anything. You know what I mean? It's like like so for me to like not even like pay for that type of stuff and then to like pay for like porn
seems kind of outlandish.
It's not too high on my priority list. I do, and I support the business side of it 100% though. Like I see what's going on and I'd love to venture into that of being like, you know how we talked, like some type of water wave OnlyFans, something
that'd be so much fun.
Some type of way we could do that, and maybe that would even be like the how Blueface did that, because Bad Girls Club thing.
Oh yeah, that was so funny.
Like a OnlyFans content house, and it's like Waterwave, curated. But then
Sponsored.
that would be the point. Yeah, like Waterwave sponsored, where we either we pay for part of the bills or whatever we would have to do to basically make it worth your guys' while to.
And then we can shoot
promote
music
our
videos
brand.
there too.
Yeah, shoot music. See, that's the whole thing. You got the OnlyFans house. You got the girls ready to shake ass for the videos
right? Exactly.
and be models and vixens and all that. So we might be onto something.
Now like the gears you're like, okay, yeah, I could see that working.
Definitely could, because you make money from all different there's definitely something to happen there.
Yeah, but I feel like also a lot of your artists are like taking and stuff like that, so would they care? Like, do you think they would care?
At the end of the day, you have to be, obviously, if it's just like for a music video and you're just like
some people
touching
get like
her
nervous
and like being with her, then I think any girlfriend kind of has to suck that up. Like if you're dating a rapper or whatever, or a music artist in any genre, like they're gonna do videos with girls, and one, they're not gonna want their girlfriend to be the girl in every video.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
especially if it's supposed to be shaking ass and shit. like a girl should just be more like supportive of like that's a thing, but like obviously like if you're having sex with them, then that's a whole nother level. Like if you're fucking the girl after the video, then that's a whole nother level of
Don't
you
think
could probably
we do that.
You could be mad about
happen.
that.
No.
Yeah, especially if you have a girlfriend.
Yeah, right.
What makes you, I guess, the most, what's the word? I guess like orgasm in bed. Like what has worked well with you, like that guys do best, and what do guys do wrong, I guess, or even in general. Maybe not even just you, but maybe you can educate some kids out here. And I mean, not kids, people that are 18 or older.
Let's see.
On what they should be doing.
I think like the biggest one for me is just like communication. I think that's just like in any relationship, in any sexual relationship, or any relationship at all, like just communication. Yeah. And I feel like this might be weird for some people, but I always like to be like, have you taken the BDSM test? Or have you taken the BDSM test? Or it's like basically it gives you like I think 100+ questions of like what you're into, and you scale it from like 0 to 10 or whatever. And then you kind of figure out like what your kinks are, what your fetishes are, and like what you're into, and like kind of go off that way. I think that again, just talking to each other is just like a really big thing. And like I feel like a lot of girls are performative when it comes to orgasm, like for the first few times that you have sex with somebody new, or like maybe even guys do that where it's kind of or like you fake it or something, or like you try to like it's kind of uncomfortable for the first time. So like if you try to like talk about like, oh, this isn't working for me but this works for me, then you can kind of move on and like have a stronger bond together. At least that's what I've noticed when it comes to me and my partners, is to not be as performative. I guess when I was younger I would be way more performative and kind of like, you know, make those porn star sounds that are like maybe necessarily not all authentic. Yeah. So yeah, I feel like as I grow older, like you said, you just like kind of get into your groove and you kind of know what you want, and you kind of like, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone's gonna be different too. So yeah, communication is probably the best answer.
Yeah, and like when it comes to, I had this problem actually recently. This guy was eating me out, and he like when like it was like very pointy, it was like very snake tongue, and me and my friend were trying to be like, don't do the snake, because we were in a threesome, we were like, don't do the snake tongue, we want to do like make it flat, like don't like don't fucking like, also the lottery ticket thing where people are like scratching on your clit, don't fucking do that, okay? That shit sucks. You always want to do like maybe like 2 or 3 of your fingers and kind of like rub in a circle very lightly, or like whatever she kind of is into, but like don't do this thing or like this thing. No, you always want to do like, you know, in a little circle lightly on the clit. She's very delicate. There's I think like 3 or 4 times more nerves than the tip of your dick, I want to say, in a girl's clit, so it's super sensitive, so you want to be very gentle with her.
There you go. Now you know.
Yeah, now you know.
So what do you do for fun outside of OnlyFans? Because obviously your OnlyFans people are OnlyFans creators are real humans. Yeah. They do normal things besides make content. Yeah. I know you're into anime.
Yeah, I like to sit at home and like I probably spend most of my time in bed watching anime or just going through social media. Like I really like I guess hanging out with friends too. We have done this like new thing called Hunt-A-Killer games. So they're like, have you heard of them? They're like murder mystery games basically. It comes in like a little box, and like usually they take about like an hour to 2 hours, and then you can do it with like one person or like fucking 10 of your friends or whatever, and it's really cool. It's like super interactive. They give you a bunch of like autopsy reports and like evidence and stuff like that, so it's really cool. I like to do board games with my friends. What else? I went through this like huge phase of like playing Smash, like Super Smash Bros. That's why I have this Kirby tattoo. I don't know if they can see it over here, but yeah, I have this Kirby tattoo because I played a lot of Smash, and my friend was like, let's go get a tattoo, and I was like, I have no idea what I want as a tattoo. And then
That was your first one?
no, it wasn't my first one,
but you didn't know what you wanted right at that time.
Yeah, my friend was like, she was just feeling really sad, and she was like, let's go get a fucking tattoo, and I was like, okay, lit. And then at the shop I was like, I'm getting Kirby.
Was that your favorite character to use in Smash?
Yeah, he's my main. They're my main for sure.
Yeah. What are your pronouns, I guess?
She, her, they, them. I'm okay with, just not he, him, which is like fair enough. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty open. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too, I don't know too much about all the pronouns, but I've seen a list of them, and there's a lot of different pronouns, and some that I don't even fully understand.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll be a little more educated in the future on it. But
yeah, I think there's like Z, Zim, right? Like
yeah,
Z, and then there's
like
also
stuff
like
like
X.
that,
Yeah,
where it's like words that, like, I understand she, they, them,
Mm-hmm.
and he, she, whatever, all that type of stuff. But then when it comes down to like the Zims and the XOs and
yeah, I've just
like,
gotten used to like, I guess, referring to people in the they, them if I don't know necessarily, and I don't want to offend them. But also it's like, again, communication, and then people will be like, oh, that's not right, would you please call me by this instead? And like, I think the thing when it comes to like pronouns and stuff like that is like acknowledging that you did mess up, and that they have valid feelings about their pronouns, and the fact that they like, I think people are still working on it. Like my mom is very...
Yeah, it's very new.
Yeah.
To like, because like 10 years ago, nobody was being called a they. I mean, at least, there definitely was people that were, but, on a large scale of like it being known on social media that people want to be called they or them or whatever.
I think our generation and younger are like really into like that. And I think that's really cool because my mom works at a library. She works like through the library system, and she has to like be very cautious of like the pronouns and stuff like that. And so it's like sometimes she catches herself and she like doesn't necessarily, I think everyone kind of, or at least the people I'm around, are kind of like, tell me if I mess up, and like I'll work on it. Like if I accidentally call somebody like a he, him, and they don't like those pronouns, like correct me, and then I can like work. I probably will slip up a few times. I'm not gonna lie.
As long as like, obviously, if you see someone, I'd say not every gay guy, but most gay guys maybe don't want to be called a he or him. Maybe they want to be called a they or even or like she,
trans,
trans or whatever. And if like you say, if you call them a he and then they say, oh no, I don't go by he, and then you make a big deal about it, then that's kind of like, I feel like where the disconnect comes, and where they would feel disrespected. But if you just like be like,
oh, I'm working
like,
on it.
My bad, I didn't know, and then you just move on. I feel like it's kind of like the way you got to go with it, regardless. Because I know there's definitely people out there that would like lose their mind over like trying to call someone a they, like a single person a they, like the TikTok like memes and stuff of like when someone wants to be called they're like, there's two of you or something like there's like memes and stuff like that all the time, like that I see like on TikTok. But yeah, I guess just more of just like respecting other people's
like
opinions.
That's how I feel about like dead names too when it comes to people who are trans. Like I would never call them by their name that they don't want to go through anymore. When like like if your name was like, I don't know, some feminine name, and then now you transitioned over to a male and wanted something more masculine, I wouldn't call you by your feminine. Like that doesn't make any sense.
Like I wouldn't be like, no, that's your name. Like,
no. Right? Like that's how I feel about pronouns too, where it's like, oh, that's my name. But like I'm still working on it.
You want to be called that, then I'll call you that.
Exactly.
It's really whatever. It doesn't ruin my day or change my day at all.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
What do you feel about I guess if, let's say, a guy hooks up with a girl who he thinks is just a girl not trans, but all of a sudden she just didn't tell him that she's trans, and then they tell him like after like the fourth time they hook up, like is there, and then the guy gets pissed about it, like, why didn't you tell me you used to be a guy, now you're a girl, blah 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 blah. I don't know if that's like illegal or anything, like to where you gotta like be open about that type of stuff, almost like how like if someone asks if you have an STD, you can't lie if you do have one. I guess I don't know if you've ever heard any stories about that, or if anything like that has ever happened.
Yeah, I've definitely heard of stories like that, and it's hard to say because like I'm not trans, so I wouldn't know necessarily like how they're feeling, and I think it comes from like a person to person kind of basis as well. But like to me, I would get rid of gender altogether, right? Like I wouldn't like have anything gendered for like boy or girl or whatever the fuck. So like for me, I think that gender shouldn't be like this huge deal to people. At the same time, like when it comes to like sexuality studies, like women's gender sexuality studies, like it obviously is like a big thing. But like whenever people are like, well, we should just get rid of like pronouns and stuff like that, I'm like, yes, we should. But when it comes back to like that trans stuff and like being with another person who may not know, again, I'm somebody who's all about communication, so I'd want like my partner to tell me that. Would it change me wanting to have sex with him? No, because I'm pan and I accept everyone as my partner, you know, well, the people I like as my partner.
But like I guess like as a guy that
yeah.
wouldn't ever want to hook up with another guy, and now they found out that you used to be a guy, and maybe the vagina that they were fucking isn't a real one or something.
Yeah, but that's like fucking designer pussy, like made for you, you know.
I don't even know what it would look like, how it would work. I don't know.
Oh, it's the same thing.
Like,
it's literally the same thing.
Like
Yeah. Well, surgery like started, I think, back in like the 60s for like changing.
Like they basically would
like
cut.
that.
Excuse me if I sound like I'm saying it in a very inappropriate or non-respectful manner, but they would basically cut a guy's dick off and their balls, I assume, and then rewire the pipes so that you can pee out of your designer vagina.
Well,
how does that even work?
I think, again, I'm not like very versed in this either. Like, but I believe it's like actual like you'd have to start doing hormones first. Yeah. So like obviously things would get smaller down there or change a little bit, and then once you're on hormones for long enough, you can have surgery where you get, I think, an entirely new uterus. Like I don't know if it's necessarily yours, but I honestly don't know. Don't like quote me on that. But yeah, I mean surgery like that has been going on since like the 1960s though, so it's been very like it's been around for a minute. But again, like when it comes to that stuff, obviously like people could get offended, but I see it as like, oh, I wouldn't want to have sex with a man. Well, you're not having sex with a man. You're having sex with a woman. You're having, you know, she. Yeah. But like I could see why.
Well, it's not a woman either, though. Well, I'd say it's a trans, because like you said, like to eliminate like the.
But like,
the
what
gender.
makes you a woman then? Pussy. If she has that pussy.
I mean,
has those titties.
Yeah, I guess I guess my perspective on it is I kind of look at it. Because I guess I should take a step back. When I played college football, we had this meeting about transgender athletes, and like they said, like if you were a guy that wanted to play in a girl sport, you had to be on hormones for X amount of months and a certain surgery to be able to compete in a girl sport. Yeah. And then for the girl to guy one, I think obviously like if you wanted to do it earlier, you could, but you would just be at a disadvantage for like whatever strength and testosterone wise. But then kind of how I thought of this perspective is I would just classify like a transgender person as their own gender. Like, you know, guys or males compete in a sport, females compete in a sport, and the transgenders compete in sport together. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because if like the transgender guy is taking hormones to level out with the female, and obviously you're never going to get like fully there. Like there's going to be some type of, you know, you might be able to get your arms bigger or your legs bigger just because you were born as a male. Yeah. And a female like will never fully be able to get, I mean, I could be wrong, but like fully, unless you take a lot of steroids or whatever, to get to the point where like you'd be able to like compete with like a 340-pound buff running back in the, you know, like in football. Yeah. So I always thought of it as like the transgender community is almost like its own gender rather than like trying to be like, no, I'm a guy, now I'm a girl. Yeah. Or I'm a girl, now I'm a guy. Like more of like I'm a transgender, but I now am a he him or a she her, like you know what I mean, like it's almost like its own lane. And it's just like either you're comfortable with hooking up with a transgender or you're not. And like you either hook up with just females, you either hook up with just males, or you hook up with females and transgenders, or you know, like so I wouldn't necessarily say like a guy that's okay with hooking up with girls would just automatically be okay with hooking up with a guy that turned into a girl. Yeah,
I guess like that's where like I'm different, where it's like I've studied this stuff, so like to me they are their gender that they are, you know, and or they identify as. And so when it comes to that though, like when it comes to sports and things, like it also, I think about fucking this is gonna sound weird, but like sometimes I think about like UFC, right? And you have like all these different weight classes and stuff like that. But the thing is, like, girls and guys can be still in the same weight class, you know? I mean, like, I think like featherweight and like is probably like a different one
like
than,
the lighter
women's.
weights for the guys
Yeah.
is like towards like the heavier side
Yeah,
for the girls,
for
but like they
girls,
could their weights technically match
Yeah,
up.
they technically match, right?
Yeah.
So like that's what I think about like when it comes to sports and stuff like that, but also that's like UFC. Like it's obviously very different than like American football or something like that, you know? But like also if you work towards it, I feel like you can get it done, you know? Like if you were a girl and you wanted to be that size, like, you know, bodybuilders and stuff like that, they've worked towards it, you know? They've worked towards a like specific physique that they have and stuff. So like I feel like obviously your body may max out at something, but if you work for it and you work towards it and getting to your goal, like I feel like it can be done. So when it comes to like sports and stuff like that, but like I can see where you're coming from though, for sure.
Yeah, mainly on like I mean, it's just, I feel like it's just something that like if you're trans, you better let the partner know that you are before you proceed to have sex with them.
Yeah.
Out of respect.
Yes.
Basically, not out of like
disgust or
like out of
like
disgust, but out of respect, because they might not care, and you'd be like, and then they'll take that monkey off your back or the weight off your back of like trying to hide it, or whatever, or they'll just maybe. I mean, obviously, you could get the bad case where they would freak out at you for like not telling them sooner or something, but like. I think the sooner you tell them, the better. Just so you just avoid, like you said, communication.
Yeah, exactly. So like on like a totally just like human relationship level, just communicate everything to each other type thing. But like when it comes to that, it's so hard because trans people obviously identify as that gender that they are, right? Or
and maybe they want to leave in the past that they had the surgery.
Like,
but
so
then,
like part of me is like, again, dead name, you wouldn't refer to them as that ever again. But then another part of me is like, yeah, I can see where that would make people uncomfortable. But it's also, I've seen it both sides, like on TikTok too. I'm like on like sexuality TikTok, and so I've seen both sides of like that's an asshole thing to do to not tell them, but then it's also like, what do I owe them to tell them about my past or whatever the fuck. So again, it's like I can see where you're coming from, but I can also see where some other people come from.
Yeah, it's definitely two sides.
Yeah,
because I have no issue with what anybody wants to do with their body, because I don't want anyone to tell me what I can do, what to do with my body. So do what you want.
But like you're right though. Like I feel like a lot of people, like probably older too, maybe would be like more offended by that stuff. But I feel like my generation, like younger, like our generation younger, like is pretty open to that.
It's becoming
but, like,
way more of like just like a normal thing.
Yeah.
That happens. Like it started off with people like, it started off with, I guess, you know, it was within our time. It was a while ago, but like when they legalized gay marriage.
Yeah.
Like that was like I feel like the catapult, or like the
which is so crazy to me.
Like basically like the power that was needed to like amplify everyone's voices and everyone's like how they actually feel. I feel like we were young.
We were young, right?
Like it had to have been like 10-15 years ago at this point, maybe even more.
Yeah, but it just feels so weird because it just feels like it's been a thing for like ever, right?
Forever. But now it's just become like a thing where you might, out of like one out of every 200 people you go to see at like the grocery store or out at the club might be transgender. And, you know, and one out of 20 people are probably going to be gay or bi, and maybe even more if you're counting bi. You know, like it's just way more of a common thing, and that it wasn't necessarily not that it wasn't around before it was legalized, but now people are more vocal and open to it, and like maybe people that are like they intook it, and now they're like, oh, I kind of do fuck with that, or but now that it's just people that have been hiding it are now showing it.
Because like we have to also think about like, when it comes to our biological sex, we have like male, female, but then we also have that 1% of the entire population, which is millions of people that are intersex. So you have, you know, penises that are maybe too small, or like I remember when, like back in the day, they would have like little rulers, and like if the penis was like smaller than this size, then you're a girl, or if it was like bigger than this size, you're a guy.
Yeah. And
if it's in between, then they're either going to cut it off or they're going to keep it. And like I think that's really interesting too, like about all of the millions of people who are intersex, and they don't, or when they were younger, they had their genitalia cut off or reconstructed or whatever the fuck for them to later grow up and be like, well, this doesn't feel like me, you know? And so I feel like what's been really nice about our generation and stuff like that is, we are more open, and we are like more, I guess, we can talk about it, you know? I feel like older maybe generations weren't very comfortable when it comes to like sexuality and like stuff like that, because it was very like black and white, you know? Especially when it came to like, I don't know, like especially like religion and stuff, like around where I was, it was like very like black or white, And so I think it's really cool that we can start those conversations now.
Yeah, and we did kind of learn that back to like when we had that class for football where all the athletes had to learn about transgender and stuff. But like there is like people like guys that are born with basically girl parts on the inside, but a penis on the outside, and vice versa. Girls that have guy parts on the inside, but a vagina on the outside. So it's like that kind of opened my mind. So I was like, oh well, that's why like. There's some guys that just act super feminine, like they have the feminine emotions and hormones, but they happen to have a dick. Like that's just
it's a mixture. Yeah,
like
just
that's
happens.
just kind of like, cause it's just like how, it's just a human being made. Like there could be a few things that don't go at the way that they're planned while it's in the womb. And then this goes there and that goes there instead of that. So like,
and it's not that it isn't like bad or anything.
That like opened me up to more of it. Cause I guess like the first time I ever like figured people were gay, they would just it was just kind of like who they were influenced by.
Like just
either
culture.
They grew up with 8 sisters only, and they only played with dolls and wore dresses and listened to this music and talked about boys or whatever, and like their influence. But really, like there could be like there's just really just what's on the inside. It's really just about what's like on the parts on the inside.
Both, I feel like, and like that's what I also like. Or like what we learned about when we were younger with like gay marriage and stuff, it was the whole like, is it like we are born with it? Are you born with this? Or is it like culturally like your surrounding, your environment? And then we figure out that it's both. It's all the above. It's like what you're given, like born with, like when it comes to like biological sex and stuff like that, hormones, but it also is like your environment and stuff like that. It isn't just like a one like cut and dry thing, And so, but that's cool though that you had that class. I feel like not a lot of people have that class or like have that.
Yeah, where they just to like get the basic knowledge of why people, I guess like why people become transgender or why they may choose to be gay or not.
Because I was in my gender, women's sexuality studies at the U of M. There was like a lot of people who were like, I grew up in like a private Christian like high school or like middle school and like stuff like that, and they didn't teach anything about sex education. So like going from I guess like a private institution like that to like a public school where like I feel like U of M is one of the schools that are very open to that thing. We're very like liberal, and like I think we're also like the kink capital of the Midwest or something like that, like Minneapolis is, which is cool. So just I feel like I don't know, just like having that class and stuff like that in River Falls or like in Wisconsin or whatever you had was like pretty cool too.
Yeah, it was like an athlete thing that it was like mandatory. So maybe all the athletes around the world had to take it, I feel like, or at least in our conference had to take it.
That's cool.
But yeah,
I feel like a lot of people don't necessarily make you take that class versus like math or something.
Yeah, basically. But is there anything you'd like to add before we finish up?
No, I think that was a good talk. Yeah, that was fun.
It was really good.
Because we talked about it before at like whenever we got wings or whatever the fuck, and then you were like, we could have just done it here, and I was like, yeah, we could have just done it here.
Yeah, that's why I was like, that's why I was kind of putting off like fully getting to know you, because I like to save like those types of conversations for this.
Yeah.
But honestly, like getting an understanding of someone before you hop into a podcast is good too, because you can reiterate a few things and then have some questions planned from what I've learned previously from you. So yeah, make sure you tap into her OnlyFans. I don't know if I don't think I can put the link in the description or this video get taken down, because I did see that where like Nelk stuff got taken down because they were promoting that they have a
Patreon or whatever.
It's like fullsend.com, they have a 18 plus part of their website.
I roll.
So it won't be in here, but official Kendama Babe on OnlyFans. I'm sure you'll be able to find it by looking that up.
Yeah.
Her Instagram and all that will be in the bio though.
Yeah.
Or description. So yeah, thanks for coming in. Hopefully maybe we'll start doing some more OnlyFans stuff. Maybe start doing some content with Kendama Babe soon. Let her interview some people on here maybe.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Do some other cool stuff. But yeah, Waterwave TV. Subscribe, like, share, tell all your friends about us. Let us know who you want to see next. If you have a favorite porn star that lives in Minnesota, tell them to come on here.
Yeah, tell me. I want to work with them.
Tell her, tell me, tell everybody.
Tell everyone.
Post it on social media. This is your favorite porn star, and just let everyone know.
Just let everyone know. Yeah, fuck it.
All right, thank you guys so much. Have a good day.
Can't relax, I can't kick it back, I can't waste my time. If you ever take it personal, I leave that shit at that. That's a fact, who really got my back? Where they at? Been moving too fast, we ain't never gon' crash. I feel undefeated, I'm on go.